welcome to another exciting episode of Hidden in the Universal Vault. I'm Ryan, your host, and I thought we'd go ahead and take a look at a short one, so we're going to go ahead and take a look at one of the direct-to-video films. This is the fourth in the American Tail series, as we take a look at An American Tail, The Mystery of the Night Monster. I didn't watch The Treasure of the Manhattan Island. Did not watch that, but I did watch The Mystery of the Night Monster, and that's what I want to talk about for this review. Now, let's get the elephant out of the room. This movie is pretty bad, and yeah, it's bad for everything in the film. So let's talk about the plot to the film, and I'll tell you why it's bad. So this time we're focused again on Fievel. So the film begins with him having this dream about a night monster, called the Night Monster. Yeah, the Night Monster. So he has this dream, and he's sleeping with Tanya, and he wakes up, and she's in a tizzy. So then becomes morning, and she's late for work. So now she works at this newspaper place with a character named Reed, voiced by Robert Hayes. So Robert Hayes joins in this installment. So she goes, and her parents are telling her, bring Fievel along. So then she's like, really? Why? So she does anyways. So basically now, he takes them along, and they meet this other woman. I can't think of her character's name at this time, but she meets up with Fievel, and they start becoming friends. So that's the gist of what that is. And most of the cast returns back. So this time, instead of Philip Glasser, we now have Thomas Dekker, and he even appears in the third one as well. The problem with him portraying his portrayal of Fievel is not very good. Philip Glasser was just a great Fievel. To be honest, he's the best voice actor in those two movies. So he voices Fievel, but he's sounds more of a girl than a male. I don't know if it's that high-pitched squeaky voice. I mean, sure, with a mouse, yeah. Also, another problem I have with this film is, and there are also a lot of problems with this movie. So, this movie is a sequel to the third film, but it's set before, let me pull this out, but it's actually set before the events of Fievel Goes West. So that's confusing enough. So, that's strike one. I'm going to mention the three strikes of why this is bad. Strike number two. We get another character who's this purple poodle named Madame. I don't know what her last name, but her name's Madame. And that's the problem I have with the film. So that's strike two. There's just so many problems with this movie, though. Strike three, the songs are bad. I mean, the songs in the second one are classic. And I will say the first one had some great songs, but for some reason the credits in the fourth movie, it says Somewhere Out There, but I didn't hear the song. It said we got three mediocre annoying songs. So that's strike number three. So I just called out three strikes with this film. Also, another thing is the saving grace to this is the animation, though. There is one particular scene. There are a couple things I'm going to say positive in this. One, the animation is great. They use digital ink and pen in this one, which is really good. Really amazed in this. So, in addition, like I said, with Thomas Dekker and Robert Hayes, we got the likes of Lacey Chabert. We also got the return of Pat Muska as Tony Taboodle, who I will say Tony Taboodle is actually kind of the saving grace that I'm going to bump it up a bit to what I'm going to rate it. And I'll rate it when I get to the final verdicts and all that. Not final verdicts, but my final rating. And we also got Dom DeLuise returning back as Tiger from the first two along with the third. So that's also very good. Another scene I like, there's also some stuff. So he has this dream again. So he's trying to save his little sister from falling down. Janish, I think it is. Trying to save. There's also another scene. After he wakes up, he has like pudding in his face. And we see him talking to the parents about that. And we see Janish just playing with cheese. That's kind of cute and all that. That is a cute scene in the film. But there are just so many problems from this movie being what I consider the worst in the series. And yeah, I can't really say much. Those are about my only positives of why I'm going to bump it up to that. I just having a purple poodle named Madame, and she does have sort of a backstory. In the very end, it's just one whole entire chase fruit though, and just for some reason they filled water, and the cats throw these mice. But here's the problem: cats hate water. The cats in this are complete idiots. Then the henchmen's with Cat Wall. Essentially, the purple poodle Madame is just Cat Wall if Cat Wall was just more obnoxious. If that's what I'm going to say in the film. That's all I really have to say. This is just an awful movie. This is not only the worst in the American Tail series, it's also just the worst family movie. Little kids are not going to like this. There's too much scary imagery. Like I said, the very beginning where Fievel's getting chased by a night monster is it can be very scary to smaller children. There are 3 scenes that might be scary for the youngsters. I don't even think grade schoolers will like this movie. This movie came out in 2000. Well, the credits say 1999. But I'm just going to say it came out July 2000. I thought it came out like February 2000. But nope, July. It came out July 25th, 2000. So, yeah, everything in this is just painfully unwatchable. Just not really that. It's sad when your animation's about the only positive with this film. But in terms of that, there are just so many obstacles from what would have been just a decent film. I did watch Treasures of the Manhattan Island. I will rewatch that one again. Even though I've seen it before, I will rewatch that one, and I'll give even more thoughts on that. The other two on that set I've watched one of them, but I didn't watch the other one. So we'll get to those. In fact, we'll get to those 2 later on down the road. We'll get to those 3 later on down the road. But for now, it's just, I think I already mentioned what I said about it. Yeah, I do not like this movie. I finished it finally, but the first time I watched it before I even started the series, I couldn't finish it. After we got to that scene where Fievel's talking to parents while little Janish is playing cheese, I stopped and never finished it. But I finished it, I'm reviewing it for you guys, and I wanted to kind of finish out the series. It's not like the Land for Time movies. Also, before I go ahead and give my final thoughts, Jet Bennett appears in the movie as a Great Dane. He would voice Petrie in the Land Before Time direct-to-video films, which I have covered on the channel. He sounds more like Dexter's dad, and he was the voice of Dexter's father in Dexter's Laboratory. I love Jet Bennett. He's a really talented voice actor. I mean, he was Johnny Bravo. That's really awesome. But in terms of this movie, yeah, I'm just going to leave it aside. I feel like the whole entire cast was just there for a paycheck and not so much there to have fun in the movie. Like I said, Pat Muska is about really the other positive I could say of this film. The animation and Pat Muska portraying Tony Taboodle. But other than that, it's not good. So, yeah, that's what I'm going to say. So, I give An American Tail, The Mystery of the Night Monster, a 2 out of 5. I would have gave this a 1 out of 5 if it wasn't for the animation and Pat Muska voicing Tony Taboodle. But as it stands, it's a 2 out of 5. It's really just bad. It's painfully bad. It's boring. The characters are paper thin. Nobody seems like they care when they're trying to do that. Trying to supply the characters, I can't say much for that. Even the ending was underwhelming. But I'm gonna leave that for you guys to if you're smart, just stay away from this movie. The only reason I could say to own this is to say completist reasons, or like me, get it in a 4-pack to save yourself money. You can get all 4 An American Tail films at Walmart for like $10. So I would say that's your best bet. But if you're only curious, I still wouldn't even recommend it. So that's my review of An American Tail: The Mystery of the Night Monster. It's also kind of a dumb title, but yeah, that's another thing. The title was completely dumb. It just didn't really sell me on that. And this came out in 2000, so I was about ready to go into middle school when this movie came out, so I kind of grew out of that. That's also the reason why it took me this long. But as a 33-year-old, I just can't recommend this. So I'm not going to stay on too long, or I'm not going to really stay on. But anyways, that's my review of this movie. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you do like the content in the channel, you can go ahead and check out all the other reviews. I got a good chunk of reviews on the channel. Some good, some bad. But films like that, yeah, so bad movies like this should not even be watched. So that's all I'm going to say. So anyways, that's all I'm going to say. So I'm going to say a good night and a goodbye. And as always, keep watching those Universal movies, and I'll catch you guys next time. Bye.